The Real Monica Adams Show is brought to you by Exist Stretch. Stop by for your free consultation and 30-minute introductory stretch today.
Well, good Monday morning. Welcome into the Exist Stretch Studios. 2 locations in our area. One of them I just went to last week, and it is a game changer, folks. I went into the Arnold location, which is inside of Exist Fitness, which, by the way, is a gorgeous gym. Wow, I cannot wait to start showing you more and more about the wonderful things they're doing. I worked out there a while back, but holy cow, have they changed things. They have spray tanning, by the way. They have tanning. They have red light therapy. They have the hydro massage beds, and then, of course, they have Exist Stretch inside of there. And Trisha Rhodes is going to literally change your life when you get in. I've been telling all of my clients, they're like, all right, sign me up. Seriously, I cannot wait to show you. Same thing that Rich is experiencing here, from the fact that you first get on the table and you're barely moving, and then by the time you're done, you just feel so much better. So Trisha, thank you for changing my life, and now can't wait to go in a couple times a month. St. Louis Hills and Arnold. Check them out, existstretch.com and at Exist Stretch on social media. Well, welcome into the show. Super excited to have you as part of us on this crazy rainy day. And again, do we have more coming our way? Well, we're going to find out about that coming up in just a second. We have news you can use. We're going to recap some of the events that happened over the weekend. And then we're going to get into our Menopause Monday. We're going to talk about the change of menopause, hormone changes, and how it affects you from a food standpoint. Things that you were able to eat your entire life, and then suddenly, what the heck, something changes. Besides Jenny Gabriel from JG Optimal Wellness, we're going to visit with one of my best friends from college. This woman knows all about the real Monica Adams. She's known me since I was 18 years old. She's going to join us because she sought out the help of Jenny, and for the last 8 weeks, the two of them have been working together, so you get a chance to hear exactly what your journey would be like if you took on the exact same thing that Julie did, which was to follow everything that Jenny says for you to do, and how your life will change. So it's a really cool Monday that we've got set up for you. Let's tee it up first for our own Beckett Moore in a segment we call What the Weather.
Good evening and welcome into this new More Weather Forecast video. My name is Beck Moore.
Well, first of all, good morning, my friend. Happy rainy Monday.
Yes, it is not very nice today, and it's unfortunately only going to get worse.
I told Beckett, I'm like, the heavens are not happy with us today. So I would not want you to be out there driving. I know a lot of you are having kids like Beckett, where maybe they have their permits or maybe they just got their license. Today, I'm going to tell you to take them to school, because it's not a day that you want an inexperienced driver to be out there. It's dangerous. A lot of hydroplaning, a lot of pooling of the rain that has fallen down. So yeah, the light display, Beckett, has been crazy.
I know. I woke up, I saw a bunch of flashes of lightning around 3 a.m.
Absolutely. So again, we had some severe storms that we see, and it's kind of, we just said a few minutes ago that it started raining really hard again. So let us know what it's going to be like for the rest of the morning. And then I understand it's kind of like waves of bad weather coming in. Is that right?
Yeah, so looking at this morning right now, we got a temperature around 62 degrees, light rain across the area, but really that rain has moved to our north at this point. Our next round of severe weather is going to come in this afternoon and evening, and that's the most significant round that we've been talking about for a couple of days, with a high around 82. Of course, those thunderstorms late this afternoon, so what we're thinking is past 3 is when we could get that to start moving into the area, but the evening time frame is really when we need to watch out. So we are in an enhanced risk, a 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather today. That could get upgraded later today to a 4 out of 5 moderate risk for severe weather. But overall, you don't need to pay attention to the numbers. Just know there is a very significant severe weather threat as we head into the late afternoon, evening, and into the early overnight hours. So severe potential tornado threat is high for today. We are expecting discrete supercells to move into the area and then form into a line as we head into the 5 to 7 o'clock time frame. Damaging winds is moderate. Again, once those storms form into a line, and that's likely going to be once they get towards the Mississippi River, that's when the damaging wind threat will pick up. But before that, it's going to be more of a hail threat and a tornado threat, and our flooding threat is low. Now, our severe risk timeline 1 to 3, It's looking like that'll be out to our west, no need to worry. So you likely will have time to get home from school before this starts popping off here. 3 to 5, that's when we'll start seeing some storms maybe to our north and closer into our west. And then 5 to 7, that's the time frame when you need to be indoors, you need to be prepared, you need to have your phone near you. If you are outside, make sure to listen to the sirens, but have a way to get those warnings that aren't the sirens when you're inside, and your phone, of course, can do that. And then 7 to 9, that will be moving off to our south and east, and by midnight, no threat in the area. Now our 7-day outlook, finally 54 degrees tonight as we head into tomorrow, 71 degrees, so cooling down with the cold front coming through. Overnight showers Tuesday night, then by Wednesday dropping down to the 60s, and we're in the 60s but sunny all the way through the weekend, not back up into the 70s until Sunday.
So just need to get through today and maybe a little bit of tomorrow. So I just posted it in the comment section for everybody to stay weather aware. This is not something to take lightly. So yeah, hail, tornado possibilities and everything. My friend, I want you to be safe. Get home from school safely, and then do me a favor and text me. I'm not an actual mother, but I have so many motherly instincts. So please let me know that you get home okay.
Okay, I will.
All right, thank you so much. That's our own Beckett Moore, our aspiring meteorologist. Again, keeping you aware of what is coming into our area. For others outside of the United States, they're dealing with tsunamis and earthquakes. This was in Japan. And folks, it just happened just within this last week. And here they go again. A powerful 6.4 magnitude earthquake rocking Japan days after tremors sparked a tsunami and megaquake fears. The quake rocked the northernmost main island around 11 miles west of the small town of Sarabetsu. And the striking inland happened this morning, their time, 5:23 in the morning. The depth of the tremor has been estimated at 50 miles. So far, there have been no official reports of fatalities or damage to infrastructure from authorities. So that is the good news. Obviously, the other big story from the weekend, the third time since President Trump has taken office, an attack on the president. And again, this was so scary to watch unfold. This was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The shooting suspect has been ID'd. Authorities finally identified 31-year-old Cole Allen as the suspect who breached security at the Washington Hilton. No stranger, right, to severe issues happening in our world. Obviously, that's where the attempt on Ronald Reagan's life was. Wounding a Secret Service agent over the weekend before being tackled, President Trump calls for a permanent return to White House-based events, and the FBI has moved to secure the suspect's home in Torrance, California. So what they're talking about now is the security aspect. Now, President Trump says it was awesome. Others are saying security needs to be reevaluated ahead of major events. Leaders worldwide condemning the violence. Again, suspect stopped before reaching high-profile attendees, triggering major questions now about political violence and also security gaps. So we will continue to follow that. Any new information that comes out will, of course, let you know, but still some questions on how that shooter was able to get so close to our president. Here local and closer to home, an accidental drowning in the Spanish Lake area. This is a park I know all too well from growing up in the Florissant area. A quiet Sunday at a popular North St. Louis County park turned into a heartbreaking scene for families and visitors after a drowned woman was discovered in Spanish Lake. According to the St. Louis County Police Department, the woman's body was discovered just after 4 p.m. at an area usually filled with families and people fishing. People walking through the park said a man and his 3 kids were the ones who spotted the body floating near the edge of the pond. Earlier in the day, the county's executive office said park rangers had found the drowning victim. They say the woman appeared to have been fishing with items like a cooler set up nearby. No one saw how she entered the water. Police described the drowning as an accident in a statement that they issued just before 6 o'clock last night. Just absolutely horrific. And again, thoughts and prayers going out to the family. As far as what happened this past weekend, did you get a chance to celebrate Mother Earth? A lot of people did, as thousands flocked to the Forest Park area for the 36th annual St. Louis Earth Day Festival. It brought together companies and small businesses, other resources dedicated to the outdoors and to preserving nature. They say we have so much capacity and desire to do good and preserve the planet for future generations. Absolutely. I love that so many came together for that. We didn't get a chance to go to that, but we did have a really fun last few days. Have any of you you had a chance to stand in the long line, and I do mean long lines, for Sonic the Hedgehog Speed Cafe. So right there in the middle, by the way, is the gentleman who is responsible for bringing it to our area. That is Qui Tran, and he owns many things in our area, but Nudo House on the Del Mar Loop area, that has been transformed until June 28th to Sonic the Hedgehog Speed Cafe. And I was looking at some of the videos, and I cannot believe how long the lines are. I knew the lines would be long, but I'm going to tell you right now, St. Louis, you showed up big time for the grand opening, which was Saturday and Sunday. If you haven't been yet, you have to go. Do not skip on this. The food is fantastic, and they pay homage, obviously, to St. Louis. They got an arch dog. There's other things that are on the menu that are specific to St. Louis. But of course, if you're familiar with Sonic the Hedgehog and Sega, they have the chili dog that Sonic eats. So you'll see the chili dog on there. They also have a knuckle sandwich and then some really cool drinks as well. So that was just one of the events. I was very proud for the third year in a row to join this beautiful woman on the right, Julie Tristan. You know her from Y98. You know her from KEZK, most likely. She and I were able to MC and auctioneer for the beautiful woman in the middle, which is Wang Horak, who is involved with the brainchild, really, behind Care STL. Proud to raise some big money, and I do mean big money, for our babies.
Jim, look, the blue-eyed dog. You know I'm a sucker for blue-eyed. But I want all the puppies. Can we have all the puppies, please? All the puppies. Look at all the puppies.
All right. I also, hopefully, Zach had a chance to see it in my reel. I made sure this time that I also showed cats and the kittens because they have a cuddle lounge. And so the dogs came out. Lover and Chandler were there as well. These are some of the adult dogs that they take care of. So continuing to raise big money so they can do the wonderful work that they do. So Wang and your team, thank you so much for having us out there again. All right. In sports news, I don't have great news for our St. Louis Cardinals fans. Unfortunately, the Cardinals losing to the Seattle Mariners. The final score was 3-2. It's the Cards and the Pirates today. We'll see if this one happens, though, with the severe weather. I have a feeling that's either going to have a rain delay or it may have to get rescheduled because the first pitch is supposed to be at 5:40 this afternoon. By the way, I did look into some hockey news, and if you have been following the NHL playoffs, the Colorado Avalanche swept the Kings in the NHL playoffs, and the Penguins stayed alive in their playoff series with a key win as well. All right, in the National Day of Calendar, there's one of the things on this list that's going to make you laugh when you get a chance to hear our interview in just a little bit. First of all, it is National Gummy Bear Day, and you'll understand why this is funny in just a little bit. Besides that, we also, on tap for our National Day of Calendar, you've got National Devil Dog Day, Tell a Story Day, oh, it's National Babe Ruth Day, and, are you salivating? National Prime Rib Day. There we go. We always in the first 15 minutes of the show like to bring you up to date quickly and some news you can use. Obviously, the weather is the big story of the day and the impacts of that. So please stay weather aware. All right, we have Jenny Gabriel coming on set with us to tell us more about the hormonal changes that happen in our body, and then suddenly what the heck happens in food that you used to be able to eat, and suddenly your body has an aversion to it. Maybe it has an allergy to it. Maybe it has an intolerance. Well, that happened to a very dear friend of mine. Julie Myers will also join us this morning with Jenny Gabriel. And then tell us if you have any questions or you've got aha moments of the same thing happening to you. We'll take you through Julie's 8-week journey coming up today on The Real Monica Adams Show.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the ah in spa.
Boy, it does. Menopause changed everything for so many, but it's also the things that change that you wouldn't expect. So gut health and some food triggers, some real results that we're going to tell today, a true testimonial, a real journey onto a better you. And I know you try to do it on your own. However, that's not the best thing. Your best thing is to let this beautiful woman, who's now dressed like me again, we do not know how this keeps happening. I've never wore this on the air. I was going to wear gray today because it felt like a gray day with how the crazy weather is. But no, we wanted to be the sunshine to your gray day, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Folks, if you don't know Jenny Gabriel, JG Optimal Wellness, check her out on social media at JG Optimal Wellness, or of course on her website. You can also email her questions, and I'm sure you'll have some today. Jenny at jgoptimalwellness.com. Jenny, how have you been? I feel like I haven't seen you in months.
I know, right? Great.
How was your drive-in?
It was fine. Actually, the storm was in front of me because
Oh.
it had already hit where I was at.
Okay.
So I was kind of like chasing it, not literally.
Hey, that's Beckett's job. Chase the storms.
That's Becca's job. But yeah, I didn't have much rain really. Till
Wow.
I hit the bottoms, I had a little bit, but nothing like
That's
major.
good.
It was way ahead of me. I could see it like moving.
I don't think that was the case for me and Zach. We were driving through it, and I was like, holy cow, it was hard to see. People were turning, very smart, by the way, if you are getting ready to go out, turn those flashers on
Yeah,
so everyone can see you.
We
You
had a
saw
wreck
lot of
on
that?
64.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, there was a wreck on 64 right before the bridge, getting to the bottoms. There was a wreck already this morning, which I assumed was probably related to the storm.
Yeah, because people are driving too fast. I'm going to go back to my traffic days. Slow down, turn your flashers on, leave exceptionally early. You don't want to be racing because that's when the accidents happen. So yeah, as Beckett said, we've got some rounds coming in. Do not take this lightly because there could be tornadic possibilities as well as hail and very heavy rain. All right. So be careful out there, folks. Today's really going to be a lot of fun. So you have been working for the last 8 weeks with my best friend, Julie.
Yeah, a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. I'm going to tell you, a lot of pressure.
For those of you that don't know Julie is the mother to my godchild, who some of you have seen with me on social media. So I thank you, first of all, for taking care of her because I have heard the frustration in her. And we're just going to set it up a little bit because we had a chance. Julie's at work very early, taking care of a lot of people. She's a personal trainer at the Y. So shout out, Julie. She'll get a chance to see this later. So we sat down over the weekend and we did this interview, and then we're going to come back out of it and talk a little bit more. But didn't you think it's funny that today's National Gummy Bear Day?
I did. I just had to chuckle when you said that. I'm like, oh
You'll
my
see
gosh.
why. You'll see why in
Yeah,
the interview.
for
So
sure.
before we listen to this, has it been fun? Did you get a chance to really know her? You guys did
Oh,
get a chance.
yeah.
Did she have her goofiness in her? She's
Oh,
very
yeah,
quick-witted.
She's great.
Yes.
She's awesome. We
But
had a great time.
I know she was frustrated, and so the fun, goofy side of Julie doesn't always come out when we're not living our best life.
Right.
So when she started with you 8 weeks ago, what were her biggest problems?
Biggest problem is that she was having these sores that were reoccurring in her mouth, and she'd removed some things. She did some elimination. She's gone to several doctors that have definitely helped her on the path. There's no doubt about that. It's just she still wasn't getting over it. It was still happening.
Yeah.
So when she came to me, it was like, what's going on? So I look at deficiencies with her. I also look at gut imbalance because the mouth, that's where the sores were breaking out. That's a direct connection. That's part of the digestive process. So we always look at the gut to say, okay, what's going on between here and there? So
Right.
we did some gut work. We're going to continue to work together actually because she has a histamine. We've encountered now that there's a histamine issue as well. So she made some great progress. I'm anxious for your viewers to hear this morning where we started and where we're at. But she's done great. Are we over the hump? No. But I'll let her tell in her part where we're
going to listen to that, and I'm going to tell you, I had a lot of conversations with my clients over the weekend. They're like, wait, histamines? So how the heck do you know if something has histamines in it? There were so many questions. We're going to actually table that for the end of the interview as we come back here live. So, all right, on this Menopause Monday, all of you, I want you to listen up because if you have similar things that you have dismissed, this will probably be very eye-opening for you. Jenny Gabriel, again, with JG Optimal Wellness, and today being visited by our dear friend Julie. Oh, you know her, you love her, and we love visiting with her as she really changes lives. Now, we've been doing something behind the scenes, getting excited about showing you what it would look like for you to work directly with Jenny Gabriel. Jenny, again, with JG Optimal Wellness. But it's not just me and Jenny this time. We get to be joined with someone else this morning that I've known for a long, long time. Oh, we've got heart emojis and everything happening today. It's a big one. So Jenny Gabriel, if you don't know, JG Optimal Wellness, a nutrition therapy practitioner, but also you've probably heard me talk about her. Maybe you've met her or you've heard me talk about her wonderful daughter, who is my godchild. This is one of my best friends from my days in college, Julie Myers, a client of Jenny. So ladies, thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So Julie, this has been quite a journey for you. We're going to go between the two of you back and forth about the journey you've been on. And so you kind of did some things on your own, trying to figure out what the heck started to change in your life. When did you start noticing some differences and what got you frustrated?
I would say the first initial was probably about 4 or 5 years ago when I had some reactions to some cinnamon. And then recently I've realized that I'm old. And just recently though, and then I had some problems with a lot of other things, and so so within about the last year.
And so, yeah, I remember you telling me, like, I don't think I can have cinnamon. And I was like, what? What's happening here? Like, this is strange. And what was happening when you would eat cinnamon?
I was getting a reaction on my tongue. So, like, my tongue has become my new best friend. Sorry, Monica. And and it kind of tells me what's going on the inside. So I had a biopsy on it, and they figured out what it was, and so here I am. Yeah.
Yeah, so you were dealing with that initially, and then other things popped up. And then it was kind of, so Jenny, take us through this. Many people will try to do this on their own, and Julie was. I mean, Julie was like being her own scientist. That's got to get frustrating for a client when they're doing WebMD, they're doing Google, and oh my God, I have this. Oh my gosh, I have this. How many of your clients in all the years you've been doing this, Jenny, have done that?
A lot, like all the time. And I even had to tell Julie, she would do it a lot still.
She's like, stop, Dr. Julie.
Yeah.
So Jenny, you started working with Julie, what, 8 weeks ago?
Right. Yeah. About 8 weeks ago. Yeah,
okay, now walk us through this, because I want Julie to be able to tell all of you, hey, yeah, this is what I experienced. So when we turned Julie over to you and she became one of your clients, how did it all start? What did you all start doing together?
Well, the first thing we did, I got an intake form on her, a list of meds, list of supplementation she was taking, what she had done before, what had worked, what hadn't worked, where she was at currently, what she was experiencing, how often she was experiencing it, what she found were potential triggers for it. And then we just dove right in, because it's about getting to the root cause. And as we talk today, we'll kind of talk about that on the journey, because it wasn't just like one thing. It was several things that can basically layer up for the situation to occur that's happened with her.
And before we go into asking Julie what the process has looked like, what it felt like, and the experience for all of you to do the same thing and to reach out to her, you said to me, and I want to pass this along to Julie, that Julie was a dream client for you. Why do you say that?
She was awesome because she came into it with her whole heart. Like, she wanted answers, and she was willing to do whatever I asked her to do. And the really great thing about this is that she was doing some of the foundational things already. Not everybody that comes to me has, and that's not a bad thing. It just means she had done some of the foundational work already. Right. We just had to really perfect it a little bit further.
Once again, if you're just tuning in on this Medical Monday, we are showing you what it would be like. And again, you're on your own journey, wherever you're starting from, but most likely you're getting frustrated. Maybe you've gained weight. Maybe you're having inflammation. Maybe you're having, intestinal issues, whatever. Jenny can work with you. And she continues, by the way, to get more and more certifications, more and more testing that can be done. I think that's what Julie really enjoyed, which she was like, well, I've already done some things, but wait, can Jenny do this for me? So Julie, take us back before we get into more of those questions. What has it felt like to work with Jenny?
Oh, it's been awesome. Because I don't have to do any research. I can just shoot her a question and I get the answer. So it's been a stress reliever, even though there's still stress, but it's been a huge stress reliever. It's been awesome. And I've learned a ton that, after living 57 years, you figured you know a lot. But when you hit that middle age point, you really don't know anything, and you need like cliff notes. And there's where Jenny comes in as well. So it's been great.
And holding your hand and guiding you through that. Because again, Jenny, we mention all the time, we need to be walking around the best versions of ourselves. And as Julie said, we get older, things are happening. Julie deduced it to, oh my gosh, everything I was reading, it seems like this is happening because I'm in menopause. Do you agree with that? Is that what's happening to her?
Yeah, that is definitely a contributing factor, and her and I have talked a lot about that. And one of the things that happens, especially when we get into her case, would be a hormone-related situation. But there's also the lifestyle things that people just discount. They don't realize, and they just don't know how they can impact, especially like what she was and is going through better, but we're getting there. But yeah, I mean, it's lifestyle, it's nutrition, it's things that you eat that you don't realize too could be contributing to this. That's why when we talk about this on the show a lot, and we talk about hormone replacement even, it's like we still have to have that foundational piece in place before we do that. Because if we don't, we're not getting the most benefit from what the medical profession as far as hormone optimization can do for us.
Sure. And again, we always stress, you're working with your doctor. You're working with what I hope is a team in your corner. And if not, make sure you find someone like Jenny who will be there for you. So 8 weeks. And again, as you heard them say, still is. It's a journey. It's not like, great, you fixed me. But you've gotten me to realize things are better. So Julie, throughout the last 8 weeks, and again, thank you for being such a dedicated client, because that's really a big part of it. She's asking you to do things. Did anything ever feel overwhelming to you, or was it like, thank you so much for providing me what I need? Like, you're giving me the answers.
A little bit of both. Just because it's a different lifestyle, the way that I used to eat versus what is out there now, that of course I didn't know, that she shared with me on how to eat differently. How the macros are so important, and how to make your plate pretty, because you need all those minerals and vitamins and all that stuff. So that part's been very awesome, and I learned a lot. And then the hard part is just making it happen, and being strict, and if you want results, so how can you do it if you don't put in your 110% effort? If Jenny's doing 110 and I'm doing 50, that ain't gonna work. So it's hard.
And Julie, we all understand it, right? All three of us are also in the personal training realm. So if we ask our clients to do something and they just kind of phone it in, and we are giving our all to you, and then suddenly you're like, hey, it's not working, it's got to be your fault. Wait a minute, what are you doing? And the good thing is, so Jenny, you have them fill out aspects in a portal to constantly say, what are you doing? And making it as easy as possible. So as we're going through this, once again, on this Medical Monday, up in my top right Brady Bunch corner is Jenny Gabriel, JG Optimal Wellness. Down below, my sister, this is Julie Myers, a client of JG Optimal Wellness. So let's go through that. What have you determined through this, Jenny, from day 1 to 8 weeks in? What have you uncovered in Julie's case?
Well, I mean, she came to me and with sores, right, in her mouth, and it was being triggered by some reduction. She actually identified through her own homework. She did an elimination diet, removing gluten and specifically lactose out of the dairy side of things. That was what she found caused them to be worse. So when she came to me, she had already removed those things. And it's like, well, we need to continue that, but we need to look at the gut integrity, like what's going on digestively. I always start with the gut first because it's the second brain in the body. It's connected by the vagus nerve to the main brain in the body, right? And when things are array like that, we're having sores or rashes or something like that, you can usually look at the gut and go, okay, what's going on down there? And what I see, especially as we age and women in menopause, we have lower HCl, hydrochloric acid. We don't break down our foods like we're supposed to because just of age and just the foods that we've eaten over the years, we deteriorated and what we call leaky gut syndrome. And that's where the junctures in the intestinal lining separate, food can get in, and then food sensitivities can occur. Okay.
So Jenny, as she had already deduced cinnamon, not good for me. You just mentioned, and a lot of people would be like, okay, isn't it just dairy? So dairy, and as Julie found, no, dairy, lactose, not the same thing.
Yeah. Right.
Right? So
And
Julie would be looking at menus and go, God dang it, I thought I could have this. Okay, it's not the same thing. Yeah, as she had mentioned at the beginning, she was trying to go at this all by herself. She did a good job playing
Yeah.
scientist and playing
Yeah.
detective. I know this is not doing well. So Julie and Jenny both, this question goes to you. So Julie, as you were going along, you were experiencing not just the sores, but it started to go into other areas as well. And so for you, did you just say, I'm cutting it back, or if I really like this, I'm just going to deal with it? Are you saying, nope, if I found something that doesn't work with me, I'm just done with it?
That's what I've done so far to date. My goal with working with Jenny would be to eventually put some of those things back into my diet. But again, right now, I have to give 110%. So I want the results. I want them faster than what most people want. And to get that, I got to take them out. So they're gone for now. And there's so much to learn, especially with some of the stuff I'm trying to eliminate, that I have apps that I use to figure out if I can have it or not. And then I'm learning more than I ever wanted to know about food and coloring. And so it's a lot. So
You know what? And Julie, you said the same thing that a couple of other clients that I know that work with Jenny, they all were like, you know what? There's so much that we love, but we love this one app. What's the app?
the Yucca app.
Well, what is that, Jenny?
it's an app that you use. It's a free download. You can get a paid version, but I always suggest getting the free version where you can actually scan a product, even an organic product. You can scan household products, skincare products, foods, and see how it rates. So it has a green, yellow, red type of rating. So if it's red, it's not like good. Yellow is like, maybe you probably should not, but you could. And green's like, go for it, it's great, it's scanned well. And then what's really great about the app is it gives you alternatives that are better. So like a good, better, best version of that product. So, and that way you can also look into and see like, what is it? It's like reading labels and understanding that what certain things are in them. Is there a lot of chemicals in them? And it's going to break that out in the app so that you know actually why it rated red.
Julie, is that why you wore green today?
Exactly why I wore green.
No, we got to give her props. She is representing my brand, by the way, knowing her own value. She understands that. So Julie, what have you found? Have you eliminated gluten, lactose, dairy? What has all changed in the last 8 weeks?
The gluten is gone. The dairy is gone. Working. Histamine is harder to learn because it doesn't say on the label this contains histamine. So that's where a lot of my brain power comes into play, or I text Jenny and I messed up or this or that. But yeah, the app doesn't do the histamine. It does it in a different way. So there's just a lot to learn. But gluten's gone and dairy's gone and histamine's gone for now.
So one of the biggest questions, again, if you're just tuning in on this Medical Monday, Julie Myers, Jenny Gabriel, we're talking about Julie working with Jenny here over the last 8 weeks. Since following it to a T, as you mentioned, over the last 8 weeks, here's the big aha moment. How have you been feeling? Better?
Yeah, I feel so. It's a whole process, right? It's not just about my gut. It's affecting me, just like his outside stress and stuff like that. So I feel, I explained to Jenny, lighter, and I don't mean by weight. It's more of, I don't have, like if you drank and you had a hangover and you feel like not so good the next day, I feel good a lot of days.
Yep.
So I think eating differently promotes like the whole body just doing fantastic. And so kudos to Jenny and for all the information that I've learned, and then it's just implementing into my lifestyle.
Oh, I dropped the mic. Here we go. Drop the mic. That is it. Did you hear her? Did you all hear what she said? She could work with Jenny. She would literally erase it all and wipe out all the great work that they've done together. If she decided, I don't care, I'm going back to my old ways. Oh, okay, well then you're going to walk around feeling horrible again. Yes, the lighter aspect is the clean side of it, Jenny, right? That she's finally eliminating things that her body does not like and doesn't want. And now it's showing up a whole different way of, here's how you can live.
Yeah. Yeah, and she mentioned the histamine, which is something we both have discovered through this process, and actually would be the second phase if we continue to work together, is actually getting on top of the histamine level, because the gut integrity was super important, and I feel like we've got a good grasp on that, the things that we've done. Our next step would be working on histamine load, because that's what's triggering generally where I would say is the sores in her mouth. And so when histamine level is high, that just means that she has an enzyme that's not working, properly to break down the histamine in the body. So there's things we can do supplementally to kind of change that. We've done a lot of gut health improvement and healing in this process, and so just reducing the histamine load, so that my hope is for Julie is that at some point we're going to be able to reintroduce these foods and she's not going to have this reaction. That's where we really want to be, and we want to be where she can have some of these foods again, or if she can have them all the time, at least a limited version of them. It's throughout the process. We don't know what that looks like yet. Yep. But if we can get the histamine load down, get the stress level down, and some things that are actually triggering the histamine levels to be higher, I think she's going to see the sores get better. Now, she will tell you, and she'll attest to this, the sores, even if she does get them, are not as bad and they go away quicker. So that's telling me, there's some deficiencies that we've noticed that were occurring, okay? B12, folate deficiencies, we need to make sure those are mentholated so our body can process those better and support her there. We've got some other supplementation that we would bring on board, but I don't want to go into a lot of detail, because what people do is it's like Google. They'll grab onto it and think that's going to fix their
That's what's going to work for me. It's cookie cutter.
Yeah, this is very bio individual, like what's happening with her. But like I would even say on the hormone side of things, that the decrease in estrogen, it also affects the oral tissue in her mouth. It makes it thinner. So, that's another area that we probably need to venture in at some point. But I feel like we don't have the foundation enough ready for that part to be even looked at for her.
So Julie, you talked about that lighter feeling before. Do you just feel like the body's processing better? Do you feel like, oh my gosh, this is how my digestion should be? I'm sleeping better. What are the other really great things that have happened to you over the last 8 weeks?
I would say I'm recently starting to sleep better, and I think that's with help of the stress level on the outside, just everyday living. That's stressful. And then I feel like, stress of avoiding, I love gummy bears. Well, I haven't had gummy bears, Monica.
I'm so sorry.
And that's really hard.
Is it what part of it? So is it the red dye that's in it? Why can't she have that?
Well, we're trying to answer.
What is it?
Can I answer that one?
Yes.
And this is just my guess, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, but the dyes and the coloring, for me and for everyone, I guess, they're like high in histamine, and they would rate red on the Yucca app, right?
Is that right, Jenny?
Mm-hmm. Well, and also,
you know how you have a chef.
Yeah, she's learning well. I mean, I love this. It's an educational process as well, working with me.
I was just going to say, you know how you go to a restaurant, they have a chef and they have a sous chef. Now you got the nutritional therapy practitioner and her cub.
Yes.
She's her cub, a little investigator here.
Yeah. But I would say the processed sugar too. You're reducing that too, and that's got a lot of chemical in it too. Gummy bears are loaded with it. They have high fructose corn syrup in them, and even if they're the healthy kind, they still have a lot of sugar in them. I don't care anybody says cane sugar, it's still cane sugar.
Correct. Correct.
But she's not giving herself credit. I want you to know that when she started with me, she weighed 141. This is not why we started working together. It was about getting the sores, like figuring out what's going on, right? But as along in her process, there's things that have happened. She started at 141. As of today, she's 134. She's lost 8 pounds in 8 weeks. She's lost several inches. I'll let her elaborate on that because she does an in-body scan too.
Yeah.
That kind of gives us even more indication of body mass index and all of that. But this is part of the process because we're cleaning this up. We're reducing inflammation, which she was very much inflamed. Are we still got some of that? Yeah. Are we still working on it? Yeah. It's not a perfect science, but we are getting there, and we've got a definitive direction at this point that we'll head next.
Well, and I love the fact, again, before we wrap up, if you're just tuning in, you got to go back, and that's the beauty of streaming, that you get to hear all the stuff that we've been discussing. You might be hearing yourself in this story, and I'm going to ask Julie the last question, which would be, all of you that are on the fence, all of you that have not pulled the trigger, why you should, and again, how your experience can be similar, maybe even more in depth, or again, maybe you're figuring some things out on your own, and then she will just help to aid that with you. But yes, we all need to be more honest and real. Jenny has said she was in adrenal fatigue, and guess what? Ding, ding, is again. I have been in adrenal fatigue. I've been freaked out thinking, what, wait, look at my A1C, what's going on? Am I diabetic? All these things. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, never mind. I got things back the way they are. But you find these triggers. So I've known Julie since college, and I used to, when she lived in her old house, she had this ceramic soccer ball, and we would all go, ooh, gummy bears. And it's just like this mindless, addictive thing that would take place. So she misses her gummy bears. Now, in these 8 weeks, Julie, did you also eliminate alcohol?
I did.
Yeah, see, so that's huge. And by the way, you just mentioned her weight loss, which thank you for being real and allowing us to do that. The pound a week is actually what a doctor would ask anyway. That's what stays off of you. Instead of the, I'm going to detox, I'm going to reset, and I'm going to go 5 pounds, and I want 5 pounds and 5 pounds and 5 pounds. And it's like, nope, that doesn't work. So this process works.
Well,
Yeah,
and
it works.
yeah, and when we talk about the alcohol, it's not about, okay, that's going to be treated at some point. The reason that we removed that from her specifically, it's fermented, and that causes fermented foods cause histamine levels to be high. So she had to remove it because it was a major trigger. Like, it was a trigger. It's like we got to stop this until we get that histamine level down. And so,
now, Jenny, you know I like my wine, and my friend likes to have wine with me. Can she not ever have wine again?
No, that's not it at all. We've got to get the
Good.
histamine level down. That's what we're working on. That's what we're working on, is get the histamine low down. So
What'd you say, Julie?
I think whiskey is low in histamine.
That's right. I'm the wine girl. She's the whiskey girl.
Whiskey is low. I Googled it. What can I say?
All right, before we have to wrap up, and then we'll continue in studio with Jenny on this Medical Monday. Julie, for everyone that has been watching us together over the last several months, and they've been like, okay, maybe I can get some free advice from Jenny here and there. I think I can figure it out on my own. That's not the case. You got that individual treatment, and tell me how that stood out.
I think it stood out because, it's not like I would send her a message and I didn't get a response. If I was sitting on the fence, if some people are wondering, what do I do? What's going to make me do it? I mean, that's your own personal choice. And if you're ready, jump. I mean, Jenny will take you where you need to go. And if she doesn't, she'll figure out a way to get you there. There's always it's a step-by-step process. You have to have the patience. You have to come in 100% because Jenny's already there. She's ready.
And Jenny, as I mentioned, we got into 2026. You were already talking about the hair tissue mineral analysis testing, all these other testings. You're practicing for this and that, and I know the stress level of all of that. Are you done with all of that? Have you passed everything you needed to do? Please tell me yes.
I will share with you, I do have my first board certification in holistic menopausal coaching. I am going for my practical exam tonight. The last step in my phase.
Healing energy, healing positive energy.
Yes, to finish my second board certification in holistic wellness.
Wow.
So I will be done after tonight. Cross your fingers. It's been a journey, guys. It's been 8 weeks of just crazy, intense stress.
Look, that's the other thing. In her own journey of everything she's been doing, it's all been that 8-week time period. So here she is helping all of you at the same time. Stress levels could mount as she's going through this to up her game even more. How many years again have you been in this field?
30 plus.
Woo! Here's your star, everybody, right here.
Yeah,
and there's her
plus.
star student.
10 years really with women.
Yeah.
Focused.
Yeah. And again, very focused on menopausal, perimenopausal, postmenopausal, the aha moments. And that's why we call it Medical or Menopause Monday. And guys, I understand that sometimes you're like, should I listen? Yes, because we've mentioned that for you, it's called andropause. She figures things out for you as well. And it's also the women in your life that you can have a little more empathy for, so you can understand what we are going through. Julie, thank you. What'd you say?
Thus the second board certification.
Yeah.
So that anybody can work with me.
Yep, the continuing education of it all. It's never to say, I know it all. No, you don't, because it's always going to be evolving and changing. Julie, again, I'm so glad that the two of you were able to connect, and I'm so glad that you have figured out a lot. And I'm sure the journey doesn't end here. There's a lot of great things that Jenny continue to do for you. But I'm so excited. Jenny, by the way, thank you, because I heard the frustration in my friend. I heard the, oh, I can't do this. I don't know what's going on. And so you've given her that happiness back.
Yeah, she's done great. She's done great.
She needs more
A little
ideal
bit more
students
to
like
go.
this. Huh?
We just have a little bit more to go.
Yep. So for those of you that are looking for the help, Jenny, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
They can just email me at jenny@jgoptimalwellness.com. Reach out to me that way, and I can send you a link over, and we can hop on a free consultation call. You can talk to me for 30 minutes. We can go over like what's going on and where I can maybe fit into that wellness journey for them.
Perfect. And follow her on social media, by the way, at JG Optimal Wellness as well. You can go to the website, jgoptimalwellness.com. Ladies, thank you so very much. Julie, thank you for the journey, and I look forward to how it continues to help heal you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, stay tuned. More with Jenny Gabriel with JG Optimal Wellness when we return. Hi, it's Monica Adams. Thank you so much for following along with The Real Monica Adams Show. But I wanted to let you know there's so much more that I could do with you, your business, your corporation. Did you know that I'm a motivational speaker all around the world, as well as an MC and an auctioneer? So if you have an event, maybe a nonprofit organization, and you want to book me, just shoot me an email, info@therealmonicaadams.com. Welcome back. Wasn't that fun?
That was fun.
And now you understand why we were laughing about today being National Gummy Bear Day. Someone did ask. And so I understand this question because I've had a lot of people go, oh my gosh, I really do like gummy candies. But then, oh, there's sugar-free ones out there. There's natural ones. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on all of that? Still not good?
You know, I just, at the end of the day, they're still putting like
dyes and things
and stuff in it. Or some of the natural ones, not so much. But again, something can say natural, but it's really not natural. Yep. Use the Yucca app, scan it. Let's see what it says.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if it comes up with lots of chemicals, then you know it's not what they're saying it is.
Right.
Right.
A lot of really good questions and comments coming in since we went on this morning. Jennifer said, I've noticed Yucca won't recognize high protein foods. Maybe the paid version will include those foods. Jenny, we were commenting with you while you were all watching, and she said, yes, probably. Then Linda said she uses a FIG app, F-I-G app, to scan out food for alpha-gal. Yeah. I also use the Yucca app. The FIG app I paid for before I discovered the other. She said you pay for the year $50, which I thought was well worth it at the time. The apps are a great lifesaver. Yeah, I mean, everyone that's worked with you, they're like, I love that she introduced us to the Yucca app. I'm like, what the heck's the Yucca app? Many people saying I have to watch my histamine load. Okay, so I said when we came back live, I wanted to go into that a little bit more. So how do people find out that that food has histamines in it?
Well, I mean, first off, you're having reactions, right? And you don't have a histamine reaction first. You've probably got a gut thing going on. Okay. Which means you could have dysbiosis, you could have, not diagnosing, just saying bacterial overgrowth. Mm-hmm. And it could be that low hydrochloric acid that I talked about that happens as we age. Right. That gets suppressed or it's less, and then we just don't have that production there to break down our foods. We'll start to see histamine levels go high. In Julie's case, I think it was a combination of multiple things likely. Yeah. You know, she's in menopause, so then we've got estrogen decreasing, so our mucosal linings are going to be thinner, so we're going to be more reactive as well. Mm-hmm. That's also, mucosal lining is inside of the intestinal tract, right? So if it's sensitive and it's kind of because of the estrogen drop, and we've already got some other gut stuff going on, it was a perfect storm.
I'm surprised none of you asked this yet, but for me it was fascinating when she was doing this on her own, and she obviously got to a point where she was stuck, and then she needed more help. That is when she was like, all right, I'm going to reach out to Jenny, and Jenny and her work together and are going to continue, by the way, now because again, they've gotten to a certain point. It's not like we have fixed it, but fascinating for Julie to figure out that it was linked to menopause.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think in her case it was. and you were going back to the histamine, and she had an incident where she had apple cider. No, it was balsamic vinegar. And I went, no, no. And I'm like, no, it's got vinegar, which is fermented. So you see a lot of the fermented foods are higher in histamines, like collagen. If you're putting collagen, if you have a histamine level, if you're putting collagen in, that has a histamine in it. Who would have thunk, right?
See, right.
Bone broth, which is excellent for, a lot of healing in the intestinal lining.
That has
it has
histamine?
histamine in it.
Oh,
so
no.
you got to be careful with that, and you got to get the histamine levels back down.
So here's the thing that a lot of you might be thinking when you start having issues. You're in your mind, because we'll go to the gummy bears for a second. In your
Yeah.
mind, it's going to be, oh, well, it's got to be foods I shouldn't be eating. Shame on me. I'll just eliminate those bad foods. I don't know how many times I have talked with athletes and clients, and they've all been like, I swear, I'm eating healthy. And it comes back to it's these foods that are deemed healthy that may have a problem. But again, it's not cookie cutter. That is why you have to work individually, as Julie did with Jenny. Now, I know one comment that was in here. So it's not lactose, it's dairy. Julie has a dairy issue and a gluten issue. What's the difference between dairy and lactose?
Well, she found out it was more of the lactose in the dairy. Okay, so dairy breaks down into various components, and her part is the lactose part of that. So, right, she can't have dairy, but more specifically, it's the lactose. She doesn't have the ability to break down the lactase.
Again, a free assessment call. That's what it would take for a lot of you, that you say, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to tell Jenny what's going on with my body. You can scan that to book, by the way, or as she said earlier, you can email her, jenny@jgoptimalwellness.com. Again, she's on social media, dropping in many of the past shows we've done and some comments. If you want to get into her Menopause Belly Secrets page, do that as well, which is on Facebook. But as I mentioned earlier in the show, you all may think, okay, I can get into that and I'm going to try to get some free advice and maybe I'll be okay here. No, because everybody's life is different.
Right.
And so that's,
For sure.
Yeah, that's what you have to understand. So again, Jenny@jgoptimalwellness.com, or scan to, again, to book that. So Jenny, as someone goes through, and I think people have asked me this in the past, are there different packages? What's the cost factor? Somebody asked that over the weekend.
Yeah, there is. Right now, my client load's getting pretty heavy.
That's a good thing.
Which is a good thing. I do have some people going off. The reason for that is because when I work one-on-one with someone, it takes more of my time.
Sure.
So a couple things that I'm going to be rolling out so that I can help more of many is this summer we're going to be rolling out a group program where
good.
I'll limit it to 10 people, and we'll look at women in perimenopause and then women in menopause, because I look at those two different, they're
the stages of
different lenses, right? We do different things with them. Another thing that I'm starting to roll out is nutritional menopause audits. That's something that's like over the course of 10 days. We work together for 10 days looking at the diary and seeing what sticks out to me and what things need to be improved. And then that can also help them realize, do they need to go into more one-on-one? Do they need to go into more group? Where are they at with that? And then eventually this summer, we're going to roll out a group program. Not a group program, a membership program.
Membership program, okay.
Yeah, where it's a monthly membership process.
So when you reach out and you, again, email Julie, she can break things down. Jenny, she can break things down for you. Don't email Julie.
Yeah.
Jenny can break things down for you to say, hey, we're going to do this group, or yes, we need individual, or maybe it's a combination of both, which is probably what I would recommend.
Yeah, and it just kind of depends on the person. They may want to really dial in. Like Julie was definitely, she needed to be one-on-one, where someone else may come to me and they may excel better in a group.
Right.
A setting, not that you still don't get individualized attention, you just don't get as much, right?
Yep. We all get, and actually, when you said that, I smiled and thought, yep, I can go back to my early personal training days where I was like, I want to help so many people, but there's only so much time in the day that if I do everything individual, because I was very much into that one-on-one training only, and I have to thank some of my mentors that have said, Monica, do semi-private training, right?
Yeah,
do some group training you can reach. I'm not a big fan of huge, again, all of you that teach classes, kudos, you do it. For me, I don't want to do the 30, 40, 50 people. I would rather do 5. right? You just feel like you get more of that individual attention and you get to split the cost of it. So many levels of this. Again, we cannot thank Julie enough for letting us follow her journey. I'm excited for her journey to continue and to continue to see the things that you are able to do for her. Let's see. Linda said, an allergist once explained the gut as a bucket that gets full and has to dump. Then the reactions show up.
Yeah, that's where Julie's at. Actually, it's the histamine load that she has that's making the bucket overflow now. Yeah,
That's a good analogy, by the way.
It's a very good analogy.
Linda said, I gave up wine as well. Now that I've got the histamine under control, I've added a little back in, but just a little, like a bottle once a month as a treat.
Yeah.
But
but
your awareness.
Yeah, you're aware of it, and you've put the things into place that need to be. My hope is that's where we get Julie to. That's the goal.
Yeah.
That we're going to be able to bring some of this back in. Maybe not necessarily not be without dairy and not be without gluten. Be able to introduce some of those, and maybe
slowly back in.
Yeah, maybe she'll be able to do the wine thing like Linda.
Yes, because we have to celebrate together. Adrenal fatigue is a real thing, Luann says.
It is.
Jenny knows.
It's real, believe me.
Yep. And by the way, before we do this, let's congratulate you because when we did that, obviously that was Saturday, right? Was that Saturday?
I think it was the end of last week.
Or Friday or Saturday, whatever?
No, it was Wednesday.
I had you text me. I must have been at another. I'm thinking
you were at another event. Yeah. I texted you after I finished.
And I was like, she's done. Yay. So congratulations. And this is the thing. She wants to continue to always be at the top of her game to be able to deliver that for you. Well, this was a no-brainer. I asked Jenny, I said, which one are you feeling we need to read today? Yeah. And she said, healing. It's what we're doing. Yeah. So 100 Days of Healing, our daily devotional from Stephen Arterburn. And this is, again, to help change for you. So day 16 of 100 days, we're going to read from God will sustain you. God will sustain you. All right. Even to your old age and gray hairs, I am He. I am He who will sustain you. I have made you and I will carry you. I will sustain you and I will rescue you. This is like Jenny rescuing you. Isaiah 46, verse 4. We have a sustaining God no matter what our circumstances are. He's promised to be with us and take care of us. We also have a carrying God. When our bodies are tired, our minds are weak, He's willing to hold us in His arms and give us His strength. It's summed up in a poem that Warren received from a friend. Yesterday, God helped me. Today, He'll do the same. How long will He continue, though? Forever, praise His name. Far too often, however, we try to carry our burdens ourselves instead of surrendering them to God. Do we think we can do a better job of managing our lives than the creator of the universe? You cannot, by the way. Arhubius places a barrier between us and Him, and our attempts to control and manipulate the things and people in our lives too often result in problems, at least, or disasters at worst. Think about the areas in your life where you continue to try and wrest control. Confess your pride to the Lord. Ask Him to help you let go. Thank Him for His sustaining grace. Then note how much better it feels to give your problems to your strong, dependable Father. Once you do it to Him, then turn it over to Jenny because they'll work hand in hand for you. Stormy Martian says there's only one power in the world great enough to help us rise above the difficult things we face, the power of God. David Brainerd said, never think that you can live to God by your own power or strength, but always look to and rely on Him for assistance, yea, for all strength and grace. And deny your weakness, you'll never realize God's strength in you. Father, you're dependable and strong. Today I confess I too often try to manage my own life. Now I once again give you my worries and my fears. Sustain me and strengthen me. Amen to that. Heal. That is the overarching message for you of the day. For sure. Again, congratulations on all you're doing. Thank you again for what you did with Julie. And now it's your turn. For those of you that have hit that wall and you're just so frustrated and you put your hands in the air and you're like, I don't know where to go from here. You shoot an email to Jenny. That's what you do. Jenny at jgoptimalwellness.com. Let her help you like she has helped my dear friend. And again, I can't wait to hear how your lives change. Jennifer said, so glad I came across you this morning. Thankful for you this morning, Monica and Jenny. Yes, I know, Kyle. Kyle wants me to wear a big derby hat. Watch Friday. I'll make sure it happens. I was asking Jenny if she was going to a derby party, and she's like, I don't think so. I will be. Yep. What will that hat look like? Not sure just yet. Thank you, my friend. Tomorrow, it's a Testament Tuesday, and I always love to hear what someone's life was before we know them for whatever they're doing, right? So we've been talking about Barrel House. Barrel House, have you been yet? It's in Baldwin. We are
Okay.
going to be there. It's one of our two, we have more that are getting scheduled, but 2 mobile Monicas that are on tap for the month of May. We are going to be at Oak and Front on May 5th. And then on May 11th, we'll be here at Barrel House. Tomorrow, though, we get a chance to hear their story. Stephen and Denise, can't wait to have you on the show. BarrelHouseSTL.com. You can follow them on social media at BarrelHouseSTL. Super cool place. Again, it is one of the most warm and welcoming places. I just want some of these couches that they have here, right? So the blue ones for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what it looks like when you go in and you're having drinks with friends or
Wow.
a mocktail. Again, you don't have to have a drink if you don't want to. I went in there. I'm not a bourbon drinker, but Jim is, and so is his son. I watched them make their own blend out of those
Oh,
barrels.
now, see, Greg would love that.
You've got to go. And you know what? If someone has a birthday or an anniversary coming up, get them a gift card for them to have this experience. And then from right there, you get a chance to pick your own bottle. You name your own blend.
Cool.
And then as you have people over, you're like, this is mine, right?
Yeah.
That's it. So that's such a cool place.
fun.
Barrel House. We'll hear Stephen and Denise's story tomorrow on our Testament Tuesday. From now till then, thank you so much for watching. Now share this with your friends and family because this will be an eye-opening show for them for sure. Remember, do the one thing that we always ask you to do, and as show kindness to each other. Be kind and God bless.
The Real Monica Adams Show is brought to you by Exist Stretch. Stop by for your free consultation and 30-minute introductory stretch.